So we're now going to move on to our next presenter from Rejuversen. This is Marc Ramis Castelltort. Marc, are you with us?
So thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to talk at this meeting and also with these other companies. So today I'm going to pitch about Rejuversen, okay, a company that is brand new. It's been operating a few weeks ago only, okay. So the company, it's focused on cellular senescence. I'm not going to describe the basics of that, but just to mention that one of the academic co-founders of the company is Manuel Serrano, who together with others, they described the hallmarks of aging back in 2013. And he has been also working in many of the fundamental efforts in the senescence field, from discovering P16 back in the 90s to doing proof of concept in vitros and in vivos of the senescence together with other academics. So a bit of history why we are here today is that together with Manuel Serrano and others, we found a company in Barcelona back in 2017 called Senolytic Therapeutics. And the company originally started developing several discovery programs. One of them is the one with the nanoparticles, that they are doing a particular target delivery of senolytic drugs into senescent cells. And the company was invested a few months later by Life Bioscience and flipped into a Delaware company in Boston. So at Senolytic, we have been opening different discovery programs. And I have to say that a few months later, we started a program that in collaboration with three academic institutions in Spain, the IRB, the CNIO, and the Valdebron Institute of Oncology, to develop and validate a target that Manuel discovered in his lab, and to develop an asset around this target. This discovery program produced in the last 2 years really interesting data that lead us to found a second company called Rejuversen in collaboration with a really interesting group called Rejuveron that is already operating as well and is an investment group based in Zurich. So together we have created Rejuversen a few weeks ago. And just to put you in context about what we do at Rejuversen, so we are really focusing to the correlation between cellular senescence and oncology. Okay, as you know, when you damage cells, go to apoptosis, or some of them they induce senescence. So it has been described from many papers, including one interesting paper from Judith Campisi from 2016 about that the idea that by inducing senescent cells in tumors, you are basically inducing cellular plasticity and tumors grow. Okay, so the idea to induce senescent cells in tumors maybe initially is good, as CDK4, CDK6 inhibitors, they do this job, but these senescent cells that are inducing the tumor are inducing metastasis and to regrow. Okay, so we have been really fascinated with this idea to when you have a tumor and you do standard of care therapy, and you maybe the therapies are working, chemo, radiotherapy, target therapies, but you induce that senescent cells, and it's been proved by, as I was saying, by several scientists that induce the cancer to regrow. So we have been working a lot in the idea to combine a standard of care chemotherapy with a senotherapy, okay, to improve the outcome and superiority of a standard of care. And actually, we have been publishing a few works, academic work on that. The first one was in EMBO in 2018. And here you can see here in this xenograph in melanoma, how when you treat animals with palbociclib, the CDK4 inhibitor from Pfizer, it obviously is working. But when you combine palbo with in this case, doxorubicin in our nanoparticles that transform doxorubicin into a senolytic drug, you have a much better effect. And actually, we replicate that work also with navitoclax into the nanoparticles. So more recently, another academic collaborator from us, Daniel Muñoz at Cambridge, at the University of Cambridge, he also reproduced this work, but again with another xenograph, in this case on lung cancer, and the idea was exactly the same. They induced senescence in this particular case with cisplatin, and then some animals were treated only with nabitoclax or with nabitoclax and cisplatin, and you can see here how the combination of an oncology drug and a drug that has been described as a xenomorphic or senolytic, it has some effect. So based on that, but also trying to move away from the classic standard of gold standard of xenomorphic and senolytic strategies to kill or target the SASP, what we did is we try to find a differential approach, therapeutic approach, and basically by 2017, Manuel discovered in his lab a new target, the correlation of a target that has been already described in oncology with senescent cells. So basically, he has been working on demonstrating that by inducing, you upregulating this target when you induce senescence in vitro and in vivo, and many different ways to induce senescence in oncology. Also, that prevents CD8 plus activation. I am not going to show you much data today, but here you can see how in this, when you induce senescence, you are upregulating the target, and then actually when you do the knockout of this target, you are not inducing when you induce with senescence, you are not inducing the target. So basically, he also worked in 2 animal models, okay, in both in pancreatic cancer, but also in melanoma, and the idea is he got really interesting data combining the standard of care with the immunocompetent mice with this target. Okay, so based on that, we have this therapeutic approach at Rejuversen. So we are developing a monoclonal antibody, and the idea is to combine chemo, radio, standard of care therapy, and then having a partial response. And then instead of going to a relapse, the idea is to combine this with our antibody to make the immune system do the job to clean the senescent cells from the tumor. And then with this idea, we have been invested by Rejuveron on a seed and Series A investment that will help us to go from where we are now to a first in human, hopefully in 3 years. And the idea is that now we are really focused on profiling human tumors. The idea is, okay, we know that this is the concept, but we need to find which is this particular subset of cancer where this makes more sense to start IND-enabled studies and then going to a first in human. And also the idea that the concept expands from oncology also to aging, but the original focus of the company is to first focus in cancer. So the founders of the company are myself together with Manuel, and also a really important person in the company is Timothy Cash, who is the Chief Science Officer at Senolytic, but he has been working a lot in the last 2 years to generate the data associated with the antibody. And so, and today the board of directors is also myself, but we are extremely excited and happy to have in our board 2 persons with a really good experience in the big pharma. One is Matthias Stiger, who has been working in Roche for many years and has been involved in a lot of transactions, and also Stephen Helliwen, who has been also working for many years at Novartis, and he brings to the company strong experience on how to develop preclinical development. So around these people, we are now building a team with other professionals, and the collaboration with our investor Rejuveron is strategical. So we are extremely happy to work with them. And other partners of the company are basically the academic institutions that supported us in the discovery program. All of them are in Spain, and they are also fundamental for the next steps of the company. And thank you very much for your time.
Wonderful,
Mark,
Mark.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Very
Go.
succinct. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I guess that obviously immunotherapies are right up there in everybody's thinking at the moment. How are you finding things for you, Mark, in terms of investor appetite at this stage?
Well, as you can see, the company is in a very early stage. Okay, obviously, immune-oncology is a big field, but also it's very crowded because with all the PD-1, PD-L1, other immune checkpoint inhibitors, this has been a very crowded field. Okay, but we clearly have a differential proposal. Okay, the idea to make the immune system do the cleaning of the senescent cells in the tumors, and to be honest. We have been very lucky because we did all this the fundraising and the engagement with our investor during this year, and we probably in the next 2 years we will probably need another investors. And one of the ideas to partner with Rejuversen and be based in Switzerland is to have access also to big pharma, because as you can imagine, these antibodies, the ones that they are already on the market in immuno-oncology, have been developed by big pharma that they are based there.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure you're going to get some questions in the breakout room. So, Mark, we'll leave you to take those questions from people that join in the breakout room.